Hello everyone, and welcome to the initial Mass Effect analysis video. This will primarily be a quick overview serving to reestablish the thesis I'm operating within for this particular Let's Play. I know that I've mentioned it a couple of times during gameplay videos, but this will hopefully provide a nice foundation for what specifically I'm trying to draw eyes and thoughts to throughout the remainder of the Let's Play. If you have not yet watched through the full playthrough of the first game yet, the playlist is linked in the cards for your viewing pleasure. First off, just to plainly reiterate my thesis, I view the Mass Effect trilogy as an adolescent narrative, and thereby interpret the narrative beats and options as reflective of that narrative focus. I won't delve into any narrative elements beyond the first game for this particular video, but you can also see why this interpretation influences my appreciation of the endings in my video about why I like the endings of Mass Effect 3, which is also linked up in the cards. Turning to the game itself, one of the first statements that I've noticed comes to mind for others when I say Mass Effect is an adolescent narrative is, "But Commander Shepard isn't an adolescent, they're an adult." To which I say, yes, but humanity within the context of this particular galactic society is the adolescent species among other advanced aliens. Just to give a quick breakdown of the time on a galactic scale for each of them, the Council races have existed on this scale for millennia, with the Asari discovering the Citadel in 580 BCE in terms of Earth's dating system, and with the Solarians discovering it in 520 BCE. The Turians in turn are over a millennium later making first contact with the Council races in the 700s CE. Compare this to when humanity made first contact, 2157 CE, which is 26 years prior to the events of Mass Effect. So we're talking about centuries to millennia on the galactic stage for all other advanced species in Council space to just over a quarter century for humans. Humans naturally are children in the eyes of these other species. Furthermore, Shepard's non-human crewmates, with the exception of Rex, are also distinctly coded as adolescent within their cultures, with both Liara and Tali making blatant statements about their youth, and Garrus having a hot-headed, impulsive, defiant, and frankly immature approach to his actions, especially in regard to authority. This alignment with other distinctly adolescent characters reinforces the apparent adolescence in Shepard, and the relationship to authority they all bring across the board is actually quite critical in being able to identify this narrative as adolescent. Essentially, Shepard acts as the envoy of humanity for the galaxy at large. Because of this position, even though Shepard is 29 in this first game, and obviously an adult within human terms, they function as an adolescent within the galactic space, and thereby the narrative of the game. This is where I introduce a book to you all. Disturbing the Universe, Power and Repression in Adolescent Literature by Roberta Seelinger-Treitz. This is a bit of an older text within adolescent literature studies, but all of the ideas remain extremely pertinent because it specifically looks at the power struggle between being perceived as a child while struggling to gain and retain adult agency that teens and young adults experience both in literature and real life. Nearly all adolescent narratives deal with this struggle in one way or another, whether it's on a personal level, a small community scale, or a larger world scale, or in the case of Mass Effect, a galactic scale. Treitz explains generally, quote, "Virtually every adolescent novel assesses some aspect of the interaction between the individual adolescent and the institutions that shape him or her," end quote. Institutional powers, most specifically parents and other adults within an adolescent narrative's world, are the sources of or blocks to agency for adolescent characters. And if you think about this, it mirrors real life in many ways. Treitz also notes that the protagonists of many adolescent novels, quote, "experience some form of overregulation leading to unacceptable rebellion, leading to repression, leading to acceptable rebellion, leading to transcendence that typifies the domination-repression model of institutional discourse common in adolescent literature," end quote. As children grow into adolescence and young adulthood, their parental figures loosen the reins effectively and allow the youths to do more and more on their own. Within American culture specifically, we have significant markers of this. Getting a driver's license, extension of curfews, being able to go to late-night school or non-school events, etc. These markers usually are the subject matter of realistic adolescent literature. However, even with the space opera setting of Mass Effect, we still plainly see elements of this dynamic in how the Council treats Shepard, with the initial resistance to the human crew's observations on Eden Prime, which functions as infantilization of humanity.
An eyewitness saw him kill Nihilus in cold blood.
We've read the Eden Prime reports, Ambassador. The testimony of one traumatized dock worker is hardly compelling proof.
To adding Shepard to the Spectres, which is a form of regulation on humanity.
There is a way to stop Saren that doesn't require fleets or armies.
No, it's too soon. Humanity is not ready for the responsibilities that come with joining the Spectres.
It's the best solution.
You don't have to send a fleet into the Traverse, and the Ambassador gets his human Spectre. Everybody's happy.
That time the Solarian looked over. But still
Commander
weird.
Shepard, step forward. It is the decision of the Council that you be granted all the powers and privileges of the Special Tactics and Reconnaissance Branch of the Citadel.
Spectres are not trained, but chosen. Individuals forged in the fire of service and battle. Those whose actions elevate them above the rank and file.
Spectres are an ideal, a symbol, the embodiment of courage, determination, and self-reliance. They are the right hand of the Council, instruments of our will.
Spectres bear a great burden. They are protectors of galactic peace, both our first and last line of defense. The safety of the galaxy is theirs to uphold.
You are the first human Spectre, Commander. This is a great accomplishment for you and your entire species.
All right, thank you.
I'm honored, Counselor.
To simultaneous acceptance and resistance to their actions throughout the mission against Saren, which functions as overregulation at that point.
Until they overrun the galaxy.
They won't.
This queen is different. She understands why her kind had to be wiped out last time around.
I hope you're right, Shepard. Our children's children will pay the price if you're not.
We'll be waiting for your next report, Commander.
And this obviously culminates with the repression in the grounding of the Normandy following the unacceptable rebellion of Shepard's insistence that Ilos is where the Council should focus the fleet.
Your style served you well in the Traverse, Commander. We recognize that. But Ilos requires a deft touch. We have the situation under control.
What about the Reapers?
Sovereign's the real threat. Saren's just a servant of the Reapers.
Only you have seen the Reapers. And then only in visions. We won't invade the Terminus systems because of a dream.
I literally spoke to Sovereign, so no. What about the Conduit?
Secrecy isn't his greatest weapon. The Conduit is.
Saren is a master manipulator. The Conduit is just a distraction from his real plan to attack the Citadel.
Oh boy. Oh boy, they are idiots.
If Saren finds the Conduit, we're all screwed. We have to go to Ilos.
Ambassador Udina, I get the sense Commander Shepard isn't willing to let this go.
There are serious political implications here, Shepard. Humanity's made great gains thanks to you, but now you're becoming more trouble than you're worth.
You bastard! You're selling us out!
Yep.
It's just politics, Commander. You've done your job, now let me do mine. We've locked out all the Normandy's primary systems until further notice you're grounded.
This then leads directly to acceptable rebellion on the part of the adolescent Shepard, functionally made acceptable by Captain Anderson.
I know, I'm sorry. I wanted to warn you, but there was no way to get a message to you before you docked. I know you're pissed off right now, but you can't give up. They all think this is over, but we both know it's not. You have to go to Ilos. You have to stop Saren from using the Conduit.
Yeah. I'd definitely say it's not that simple.
There's only one ship that can get me into the Terminus systems undetected, and she's grounded.
Citadel controls locked out all the Normandy's systems, but if we override the ambassador's orders, we can get them to bring the Normandy back online. You can be in the Terminus systems before anyone even knows you're gone.
Yeah, but what about you?
If we steal the Normandy, you're the one left holding the bag.
And if Saren finds the conduit, life as we know it is over. The Reapers will destroy us. Humans, Asari, everybody. You're the only one who can stop him, Shepard. So I'll do whatever it takes to get you on the Normandy and off this station.
And it is then through this rebellion, the rebellion that saves the Council in our Let's Plays case, that the Council in their parental role comes to accept Shepard and thereby humanity as adults within the galactic cultural and socio-political space, allowing humanity and Shepard to transcend the adolescent position they have been in throughout the game.
There is no greater sacrifice, and we share your grief over the tragic loss of so many noble men and women.
The Council also owes you a great personal debt, Commander, one we can never repay. You saved not just our lives, but the lives of billions from Sovereign and the Reapers.
Commander Shepard, your heroic and selfless actions serve as a symbol of everything humanity and the Alliance stand for.
And though we cannot bring back those valiant soldiers who gave their lives to save ours, we can honor their memories through our actions.
Humanity has shown it is ready to stand as a defender and protector of the galaxy. You have proved you are worthy to join our ranks and serve beside us on the Citadel Council.
Yes. Now, my main focus within this first game is the establishment of the typical adolescent narrative structure that I just described. I would be remiss, however, if I didn't delve a bit deeper into the significance of the age coding of certain NPCs. As I've already mentioned, Liara, Tali, and Garrus are coded distinctly as adolescent. Returning to the clips I showed earlier, we have Liara's statement about her age and Tali's explanation of the pilgrimage.
Just how old are you exactly?
I hate to admit it, but I am only 106.
Damn! I hope I look that good when I'm your age.
A century may seem like a long time to a short-lived species like yours, but among the Asari, I am barely considered more than a child. That is why my research has not received the attention it deserves. Because of my youth, other Asari scholars tend to dismiss my theories on what happened to the Protheans.
We don't see many Quarians here. Why did you leave the flotilla?
I was on my pilgrimage, my rite of passage into adulthood.
What's that?
I've never heard of this before.
It is a tradition among my people. When we reach maturity, we leave the ships of our parents and our people behind. Alone, we search the stars, only returning to the flotilla once we have discovered something of value. In this way, we prove ourselves worthy of adulthood.
These statements are, at face value, statements that both women are effectively adolescents in the eyes of their people. Because of this, their narratives in this game and later games mirror Shepard's and humanity's fairly directly. I don't need to really dig into them. Understanding Garrus as an adolescent, on the other hand, requires a bit more understanding of Turian society to fully grasp. And I will note this will be an extremely reductive view of Turians, but these broad brushstrokes are sufficient to understanding Garrus as an adolescent, which is the point in this moment. The most important thing to remember is that Turians are a militaristic meritocracy, so the value of an individual within society can in some contexts effectively be summed up by their ability to follow orders for the betterment of society. This is actually something that will come up in Mass Effect 3 with a different Turian character. When we first meet Garrus, he's investigating Saren, and we see this interaction.
Saren's hiding something. Give me more time. Stall them.
Stall the Council. Don't be ridiculous. Your investigation is over, Garrus.
Commander Shepard, Garrus Vakarian. I was the officer in charge of the C-Sec investigation into Saren.
Okay, yeah, who was that?
Who were you just talking to?
That was Executor Palin, head of Citadel Security, my boss. He'll be presenting my findings on Saren to the Council.
Alright. What did you find?
Come across anything I should know about?
Saren's a Spectre. Most of his activities are classified. I couldn't find anything solid. But I know he's up to something. Like you humans say, I feel it in my gut.
The military focus of Turian society requires the citizens to follow orders and not push back against authority. As I've mentioned previously in regard to adolescent literature and real-world adolescence, pushing back against authority is a huge part of young adults finding and claiming agency within both contexts. Garrus goes on to explain after joining the Normandy crew that he basically had to follow more and more orders as he worked his way up the CSEC ladder, and he didn't like it. Given the cultural focus upon rule following within Turian society, Garrus's resistance indicates a disconnect with the presumed maturity associated with working one way up a structural ladder. Couple this with obviously impulsive statements throughout the game.
There's no escape this time, Doctor. I'd harvest your organs first, but we don't have the time.
You're crazy. He's crazy! Please, don't let him do this to me.
Back down, Garrus.
We'll take him in, drop him off at the military.
But we have him. We can't let him get away. Not again.
Garrus, think.
If he dies, we'll never know what he's been up to, or how he did it. We'll take him in, interrogate him, and he'll serve his time.
Okay. You're right.
Garrus clearly is intended to match up with the player's understanding of what an adolescent is, in human terms, further solidifying the Normandy crew as adolescent. So then, going forward with the series, what I will be trying to point out and mention more directly, and what I hope everyone will draw their eyes and observations to, are, in general, the structure of adolescent narratives, especially in regard to power structures. This will actually be extremely critical to think about in regard to the elusive man in Mass Effect 2, as well as the people that Shepard is interacting with and their personal narratives. While I certainly consider the structural connections to adolescent literature to be the strongest connection between the trilogy and adolescent literature, the existence of characters who are coded as adolescent surrounding the protagonist so closely cannot be ignored when considering this, especially when the protagonist is chronologically an adult by our standards. Anything that can connect the story with adolescence is potentially significant, so if I miss something or if you think I misjudged something, absolutely mention it in discussion, whether that's here, on Facebook, or on Discord. But with that, everyone, that is going to polish off this analysis video. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to hit the subscribe button so you know when my videos, both gameplay and analysis, are coming out, and follow the links to the Facebook page and Discord server to join the conversation. And if you're so inclined to support me monetarily, follow the link to my Patreon where you can become a game scholar and help make videos like this in particular much easier for me to make. And one of the current perks is a glimpse into my drafting process for videos such as this. But until next time, everyone, this is your Game Professor signing off. I will see you tomorrow for more Stardew Valley and next week for Mass Effect 2.